Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we will be exploring the causes of mesothelioma, a rare and aggressive cancer that affects the lining of the lungs, abdomen, and heart. The primary culprit behind mesothelioma is asbestos exposure. So let's dive into the details and understand the link between asbestos and its devastating disease. Let's get started. Segment 1. What is mesothelioma? Before we delve into the causes, let's briefly understand that mesothelioma is. Mesothelioma is a type of cancer that develops in the mesothelial cells which line the protective membranes of the lungs, abdomen, and heart. It is most commonly associated with exposure to asbestos, a mineral used extensively in the past due to its heat resistance and insulating properties. Now let's explore the primary cause of mesothelioma. Exposure to asbestos. Asbestos is a naturally occurring mineral that was widely used in various industries, including construction, shipbuilding, manufacturing, and insulation. The tiny asbestos fibers, when inhaled or ingested, can become lodged in the mesothelial tissues, leading to inflammation, scarring, and eventually the development of mesothelioma. Occupational exposure to asbestos is one of the most common scenarios leading to mesothelioma. Workers in industries such as construction, mining, shipbuilding, and asbestos manufacturing were at a high risk of inhaling asbestos fibers. These workers may have directly handled asbestos or worked in an environment contaminated with airborne asbestos particles. Over time, this exposure can cause this development of mesothelioma. Aside from occupational exposure, individuals can also be exposed to asbestos through environmental factors. Environmental exposure can occur when people live near asbestos mines or processing facilities or in areas with asbestos-containing materials. Family members of workers who brought asbestos fibers home on their clothing can also experience secondary exposure. Also, the risk is lower compared to occupational exposure. It is still a cause of concern. When asbestos fibers are released into the air, they can be inhaled or ingested. Over time, these fibers accumulate in the lining of organs, leading to inflammation, scarring, and eventually the development of mesothelioma. Occupational exposure to asbestos is a significant risk factor for mesothelioma. In the past, workers in industries such as construction, manufacturing, shipbuilding, mining, insulation installation were particularly vulnerable to asbestos exposure. They often faced high levels of asbestos fibers in their work environment. Secondary exposure to asbestos can also lead to mesothelioma, although it is less common. Secondary exposure occurs when individuals come into contact with asbestos fibers carried on the clothing, skin, or hair of those work with asbestos. For example, family members of asbestos workers may unknowingly be exposed to asbestos fibers brought home on work clothes. Environmental exposure. In addition to occupational exposure, environmental exposure to asbestos can also contribute to mesothelioma cases. So, the environmental exposure occurs when individuals live near asbestos mines, factories, or areas with asbestos-containing materials, and they may inhale asbestos fibers released into the air through natural process or human activities. To recap, the primary cause of mesothelioma is exposure to asbestos, with occupational exposure being the most common. Understanding these causes is crucial for promoting awareness, early detection, and preventive measures. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumb and share it to spread awareness about mesothelioma. Remember, asbestos exposure can be prevented, and by taking necessary precautions, we can strive for a future without mesothelioma. Thank you for watching.